Andale! Let's get this party started. What's going on, my high vibrational individual expressions of God, or the goddess on earth? And I want to break down how to increase trust and believability. That way you can remove your emotional frustration. One of the keys that I use every day to unlock my true potential so I can stay in the flow state and operate in a very high gamma brainwave state regardless of whatever's going on in my life externally is to make sure that I be, do, and have a very, very increased believability and trustability, if that's the word. And there's three keys, to help me do that, and that is, number one, listen to my intuition. Number two, use the language of results. And number three, I'm in it to win it. So now I want to break down these three keys to assist you with continuing to oscillate and vibrate on a higher level. So the whole key to success is for you to be nothing less. It's not about results. It's really about you being your true, authentic self. It's really looking in the mirror every morning and just being happy, really being at peace with who you are. You are, a child of the king, child of the queen, if you will, whatever language you want to use or whatever pronoun, I should say, you want to use. But let's not get wrapped up in the pronouns. Let's actually focus on over and understand how to be the best version of ourselves, because we are defined by design. And as an individual divine being, as we talked about earlier today, we focus on the solution, not the situation. Now, that's very easy to say, like we say in pretty much every show, and we talk about, focusing on the solution. But when I say focus on the solution, I was thinking about that during my evening workout this evening. It's like the situation is always in your brain. You really have to put forth a lot of effort consciously to really focus on the solution. So it's not, it's easier said than done. It's like, everything, whether it's like listen to these shows, you gotta put forth effort to get here to listen to the show. You gotta put forth effort to write a book. You gotta put forth effort to come up with, a working title and write out, whether you do a topical outline, a paragraph outline, or whether you don't use an outline at all, or whether you hire someone to ghostwrite it, or whether you do it yourself, whether you set up your own website, or whether you get somebody to do it for you. All of that requires energy. It requires effort. Then you have your family. You have your kids. You have your job. You have your church. You have a lot going on in your life, and all of these things require energy, effort, what we call attention. So there's only a certain amount of attention. Like tonight, we're winding down the end of April the 10th, and you've made investments with your energy. You've also made investments with your time. You've made investments with your money. So people with stuff cannot afford to hang around continually with people without stuff. Somebody should write that down. Because one of the things that I've learned over the years is that people without stuff, it's like, I'll tell you guys about my brother who's moved in and, temporarily he's in a transition stage, been in law enforcement for 30 plus years. And so now he's transitioning, out of law enforcement and, going and looking at retirement and blah, blah, blah. And so right now he's in between gigs, if you will, and he's debating on whether to, continue working in law enforcement or to just retire. Well, he don't necessarily have a job. So he just kind of hangs out, washes his car, iron his clothes, put around the house, watch TV, go in his garage, work out, go drive out, hang out with some of his, military or, law enforcement buddies, click on a movie, watch TV. So he don't have the daily grind. Before, he was either asleep or working. Like, I haven't really seen him. Like, we live right down the street from each other for the last 10 years. I've seen him more in the last day than I have in the last 10 years. And so that vibe, it's good to have him, because I haven't seen him. But at the same time, that can become an interruption if it's not managed. So I have to, politely, use my energy, let him know that, hey, you may be retiring, but I'm not. So as much as I would like to sit around and just chat and talk, and we do, but after, a certain period of time, it's like, okay, time to grind because I'm not retired. Nor do I plan on being retired from that perspective of not gainfully putting my energy into a specific product, service, or information that benefits other people. Because in exchange from doing that, I'm in a constant state of receivership. So everybody on this call, that's where you are at right now. So right now you should be working on your book or working with me to complete, come up with a working title. And again, really no rush unless there is a situation. So if there's a situation where there needs to be more of an amplification because of the emotional frustration, so that you turn up the heat a little bit. So, okay, we need to finish out and we need to select the working title a little faster. We need to come up with the URL for the website name a little faster. We need to start working on completing the first, second, the third book, depending on what program you're in. So that determines the pace or the speed based upon the need. So the pace and the speed of your life is based upon the situation or the need in your life. So if there's a greater need, then there should be a greater sense of energy. There should be a greater pace. So there's nothing wrong with that. So going back to what I said initially, that is people with stuff. If you have stuff, that means you have things to do. Not necessarily material things, although that's kind of a part of it. But people who have things to do, we can't just hang out with people continually, long term, for months, with people who don't have things to do. Because the people who don't have things to do will try to be influencing you not to do things. And then the people who do have things to do, we're going to be influencing the people who don't have things to do things. And so that gets into a energy war and a struggle between, again, the situation and the solution. So I'm a solution-focused guy, always. I'm never focusing on the situation. I'm aware of it. I take note of it. I check and see if the situation has changed. And if it has, then I change my flow state. And the way that I change my flow state is to increase my trust and my believability with my, again, client, my audience, my demographics, and my niche. So tonight, we want to understand that everybody on this call, no matter what you're doing, you want to make sure that you are working on maintaining, if you've established it already, and if you haven't established it, then you want to focus on establishing it. And number one way to connect with people and build trust is to listen to your intuition. Now, when I say listen to your intuition, it's like I don't respond to every comment on my TikTok channel like they say to do. They say to engage your audience. Baloney. Because I understand that everybody on TikTok is tire kickers. 99.999% of the people on TikTok is probably a 15-year-old kid liking your video. There's nothing wrong with it. But I know they're not interested in purchasing anything. 99.9% of them. So I'm not going to put a lot of energy into responding to comments on my TikTok video. In fact, very seldomly do I respond to comments on my TikTok video. Same thing even with my email address. I get emails and people tell me, hey, call me, text me, do this, that, and the other. I get texts sometimes. So I don't respond to every comment like all the gurus say that you should do. Build this long email list. I don't have this long email list. Try to increase and go viral. So I don't make a video for TikTok with the intention of going viral. I make videos on TikTok with the intention of building trust and building believability. So I'm always talking about and I'm always showing proof of concept. So proof of concept is a very interesting concept. It's like proof of life. So if somebody kidnaps somebody, I ain't sending that kidnap for no money unless they can show me proof of life. So online, nobody's going to tell you this, but ain't nobody going to send you no money on TikTok or online. If I'm in Nebraska and you're in Texas, man, how do I know what you're saying is true? So the same way that we need, proof of life is the same way that you need proof of concept. Proof of life and proof of concept or proof of a construct is very, very similar. It's just, it gives me a warm and fuzzy. Remember, everybody want to feel, what's the two magic words? Safe and secure. Hallelujah. So if you can make someone feel safe and secure, either with proof of life or proof of concept, and there's a lot of different ways by which to do that. And again, we're not going to really go into the different ways by which we can do that, because basically, best way is, as we already know, look at the first word, proof. So proof of concept, proof of life, makes people feel safe and secure when it comes to doing busyness or doing the business with you, engaging in what? A medium of exchange. So when we talk about this proof of concept, we're really just talking about evidence that if I execute what you have demonstrated, that I will receive the same or similar results. Now, are there any guarantees with the proof of concept? Man, y'all better stop playing. Out of everything that I do every day, one of the most interesting things to me is that when I tell people, if you want to get the same results that I do, you got to do the same thing that I do or more. It's amazing. It's like when I played sports, the reason I played is I was always the undersized guy, but I was the kind of player that the coaches love. That means I was what they call a player coach. I understood what the coaches wanted. Then when we talked about how to always have money, that is to connect with the emotional frustration of your database, your clientele, your audience, your customers. So I understand the emotional frustration of a coach. Coaches get cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. If you're playing football and your job is to be in the A gap, whatever that means, and tackle the guy with the ball. So, and whether you know anything about football, there's a ball, and there's a guy that they hand the ball to, and he takes off running. His job is to go to the end zone and score a touchdown. That's called offense. The defensive guy, his job is to stop the guy that's running the ball. That's called defense. Same thing in basketball. There's a guy who's bouncing the ball in basketball. The guy who's bouncing the ball is guarded, and the person who's guarding him, his job is to steal the basketball. At least position himself between the basketball and the goal. If he's behind the guy with the basketball, the coach is going to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because he has a free line to the basketball to do a layup. If anything, you want to keep the guy in front of you so he can shoot a jump shot. Why? Well, it's a lot harder to make a jump shot than it is to make a layup. So business is no different. Business is exactly like sports. So I love business because I love sports. And in sports, the guy that's in better shape because he practiced, you play the way you practice. Business is no different. So you mean to tell me you're going to go into a business that you've never practiced and you wonder why you failed? So before you start, I already know you're doing. It's like if I go out and play Michael Jordan in a game, I'll pick up a game of basketball. Even at his advanced age, he still could smoke 90% of the people on the planet. Like Tiger Woods with one leg. Y'all saw him hopping around at the Masters this weekend. He still will smoke anybody off the street. He's a professional golfer. So, yeah, even in his advanced old age and he beat up and he got one leg, he still is a dangerous player because he has proof of concept. He's won a bunch of professional golf tournaments. So I need to see your proof of concept to build trust and believability. So it's interesting to me that people go online and they post videos and they wonder why they don't get no interaction. They don't have a community. You post a video on TikTok and you get, maybe 100 views. Of course, nobody knows you. You have no proof of concept. You have no proof of life. You just kidnap somebody. You kidnap, like, I got 25 businesses for sale. Now, if you buy one of those businesses, the first thing you got to do is if you buy in a business if you buy my 2020 total awareness business, so what that business is about, all the books, the modules and everything in that business is about awareness. So that means that you should have pictures and images of some ancient texts and artifacts of you, kind of like Billy Carson. I should have pictures of you over in Egypt. There should be a picture of you down with the pyramids down there in Central America, down there with the Mayas and the Incas and the Aztecs. You should be in India in the cave of Brahma or somewhere. Why? That's proof of concept. Proof of concept simply means that's why people are like, why do you think I show pictures of me driving around in my little hot rod in my convertible car? Why do you think I brought it? Why do you think I had to take pictures of me in my house? Why do you think I brought it? That's proof of concept. So if I'm talking about money, I got to show people that I got money. Otherwise, they're not going to believe that I got money. And it's amazing because people say, oh, you just look at it. He's just showing off. So when I was every once in a while I still do. I'll do videos. I don't do it as much because I'm not really into physical fitness. But I did a lot of videos of me running around with no shirt on and lifting weights. Wife didn't really like it too much. The in-laws didn't like it. I didn't give a mother because I'm getting paid. So if I go back into fitness, guess what? I'll be walking around with my shirt off again. I'll post it up on Facebook, half naked, as some folks would say. It's great because that's true. I mean, you got some people, if you take your shirt off, take a picture, people say, man, why you posting up? I get family members texting me, yeah, I saw your little video, you up there on Facebook, damn near naked. They ain't gonna sit down and smoke that crazy. Right, so Daddy? So, but there's a reason behind my crazy. Proof of life, man. And it's interesting, like, man, you always on Facebook, brother. You know shit. I make my money off social media. I would be a fool not to be on social media. But you always posting. Wow, you might be a genius, Gump. So y'all have to know why you do what you do. Otherwise, you're going to get punked. In fact, a lot of people right now listening to me, you already punked. And you got punked by yourself. You put your own self in time out. Because you don't have trust and believability in your own self. That's 99% of most people's problem in the group. No trust and no believability. No proof of life. But why there's no trust and no believability? Why there's no proof of life? Why there's no proof of concept? Because people with stuff cannot hang out with people without stuff. People who believe in blank cannot hang out with people who don't believe in blank. I got $100 grand right now. If you can prove to me that that's the reason why you ain't broke or that you are broke. Meaning, now broke to me, that don't mean it ain't got shit to do with money. You could have $1 million in the bank and your ass is still broke because you don't have a feeling that the $1 million gives. I know a lot of people that's healthy, but they don't feel healthy. I know a lot of friendly women. I know a lot of women that are very attractive, but they don't feel like they're attractive. This shit is crazy. I know people that weigh 110 pounds and they believe that they're overweight. Like, oh, I don't do I look on camera and I'm kind of like, what the? And I'm looking at them like, damn, you got to see a therapist. I understand, believe me and all this shit. That shit's real, for real. I got clients that they don't name, but that's people who really believe that they're not attractive. I'm looking at them like, damn, who you compare yourself against? Paris Hilton? She ain't even that attractive. What is your point? That most of us, we have bought ourselves. So we cannot increase our emotional frustration so that way we can garner the 7 things that we talked about today. So, as I mentioned earlier, that you want to be emotionally frustrated. I hope to God you are very frustrated. I hope to God you're on the edge right now. Like, Doc, I'm on the bridge, bro. I'm about ready to jump. You playing around. Ooh, I'm so happy you tuned in, because that means that you are focusing on your situation and not your solution. You're in the right place at the right time, because I'm about ready to unlock your true potential. You can operate in number 1, perfect recall. Now remember, this is like the movie. This is, if you was to take the NZ, whatever that pill was, and activate your whole brain, this is the gamma brainwave state. So this is the elevated state of consciousness that I live in 24/7, 365. No reverend, no doctor, no bishop, no pills. So how do I get in this brainwave state? Well, if we go back a couple of shows before, then we understand that work, I enjoy my work. I love my work because I know that the devil plays with everybody's head, and then everybody's either embarrassed and they are ashamed for not having blank. And the people that have blank, they are embarrassed and they are ashamed that they have blank. So if you have money, you're embarrassed because you got money and nobody else do. If you don't got money, you're embarrassed because you don't got money and everybody else do in your head. This is how the devil works, man. And the devil, that's you. Because what are we talking about? We're talking about that you don't have proof of concept. Proof of concept means what? Proof of concept means that you don't believe that you're an individual expression of God on earth. So even though the Bible says, do you not know that you are God? Even though Jesus said, when you see me, you see the Father. Even though I can prove to you that you made up of the same shit that God is made up of. Even though if we had the time, I could prove to you right now that you are nothing but a longitudinal magnetic dioelectrical compression. That just simply means that there's a circle above you, there's a circle below you, and in the middle, there's what is called a plane. That is a transference of electrical magnetism. They call it a TEM. That's you. So this is the vertical sphere. You know, so that vacuum right there in the center, that's a black hole. That's source. That's the stillness. That's a quiet place, if you want to use that term. So Nikola Tesla, you know, he didn't like that term TEM because of, the retarded Hertzian wave technology. So Nikola Tesla was a fan of what is called LMD. He believed in scalar wave technology, or non-spatial or non-oscillating instantaneous action at a distance. That's you, boo-boo. That means that you don't give off no signals, no warning, no nothing, that you are a nothing but a transverse wave. Now, this is physics. I like physics, but I don't like teaching physics. Because people that don't know physics, they're like, what did you just say? So you don't know that you are an instant transference of instant reception and perception. Instant. There's no time and space in eternity, bruh. So there's no such thing as I'm going to get money, Doc. There's no such thing as I'm going to lose weight. There's no such thing as I'm going to, boo-boo, you already are. So the fact that you don't believe that you are, you just lost proof of concept. Because the universe says, take it from him. Because remember that what the Bible says, him that has, more shall be given. That him that has not, what the little shit he do has, take it. Excuse me. That's why Negroes is broke. Lack of believability. You don't have proof of construct. Oh, you got religion though. But we don't have proof of instant. Because we don't understand physics. Like 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. Here we go. We just had 2, we just had 3. So 2 and 3 is 5. 5, and the number before it is 3, so 5 and 3 is 8. The number before the 3 and the 5, before we got to 8, now we got 8. The number before 8 is 5. 8 and 5 is 13. And now 13 and 8 is 21. 21 and 13 is 34. 34 and 21 is 55. So if we keep going, that shit goes into eternity. That is scalar. God is a good mathematical God. God is the repelling and the attracting. It's called toroidal, but in the middle of that tornado, do you know what happens when you get into the middle of a tornado? They say it's peace and quiet in the middle of the tornado. That's God. We are in a finite state, but it's PHI for 3:16, John 3:16. Night, N-I-T-E, black hole, hexagon, hexagram, hexacore, yin yang, up, down, left, right, happy, sad. If I had the time to break down physics, man, if we got into, like, say, some of Melanie P. Hall stuff. So Melanie P. Hall wrote a book called The Secret Teachings of All Ages. Every mystic on the planet, every astrologer, anybody that's done any esoteric, everybody and their grandmother has read that book. And in this book, he talks about the hidden secrets of the enlightened ones, or what is called the higher self. So his philosophy talks about what? That man is kinship. Look at the word kinship. Kin. So we're kin. We're God's kin. Kinship with the all. Now, everybody say that dude is a Satanist. But that means I would be a Satanist too. But I believe that I'm kin. Because Jesus said that he's the firstborn of many brethren. So me and Jesus is brothers. So I understand the divine proportion, golden rule, golden means, golden ratio. Well, all the Satanists believe that. Manly P. Hall, Helen Blavatsky, all of them taught the divine proportions of what is called phi ratio. I said all of that to say what? That's proof, brother, of what? I got a brain that works. That's proof of concept. Because those rules guarantee results. So we could get into the principle of eight. There are 7 hermeneutic laws. The 8th one is the law, what I call the law. It's not a law. I just made it up. It's the law of what I call self-love. Dan Winter calls it the unified field. What does that mean? It simply means I just align with stuff I love. Just on principle. So when you are in that principle, that's step number 1 to increasing trust and believability. You listen to your intuition. So I don't care about what the reverend, the doctor, or the bishop says. If my gut tells me to go left, I'm gone, bro. Because my gut has not been wrong since 13. Actually, before that, I just started noticing it at 13. So people, let's go back to what we said at the beginning of the show. This is very important. Please write this down. People with stuff cannot hang out continually with people without stuff. Don't tell nobody I told you, because we're talking about the flow state. They're going to mess up your chi. But it's not them. It's the lack of them. It's the lack of proof of concept. People without stuff don't have proof. That's why they don't have stuff. Now, remember, we're not talking about, but we are talking about, but we're not talking about physical stuff. Physical stuff is just proof. So the number 1 key for you to be what we call successful is act as if. So it's fake it till you make it. That's called faith in the Bible. And the Bible says without acting as if, you're born. You can't please God. So every Christian should be on this call believing and regurgitating everything I'm saying. I'm just not believing. I'm just knowing. So I'm not a believer. Because if you can't believe what you don't know, by definition, if you're a believer, that means you don't know. Either if belief means that you don't know. No means that you do know. I'm a knower. I'm not a believer. So as a knower, so what do I know? I know that I'm an individual expression of God on earth. That's how I define it. Everybody, you can define it however you want to define it. Are broadcasted. So that's my immortal broadcast. Every day I have an immortal broadcast. As we talked about today, if I turn off my television set, am I turning off the eternal broadcast? If I'm watching the ABC News and I'm getting ready to go to bed, I turn off my TV, ABC News goes off. Did it go off? No, it did not. Where is it at? I just disconnected from the signal. How did I disconnect? I took my attention away from it, and I put my attention on my bed. And I go into the bedroom, and I jump in the bed, close my eyes. But the broadcast still on, bro. The broadcast is mother feet eternal. That's you, boo. You walk around, you can't be broke. Ain't no such thing as broke. You just turned off the frequency of abundance. Now, I want to ask you, why would you turn off the frequency of abundance? Why would you turn off the frequency of health? Why would you turn off the frequency of wisdom? Why would you turn off the frequency of being in a great relationship with anybody on the planet, regardless of how they feel about you? Because your love is unconditional, right? Your love is not dependent upon somebody else. So you're not loving me in exchange for what you can get from me. You love me because I'm the best looking dude you ever seen in the planet. Okay, I'm just saying. But your love for me is based upon what? Should be based upon your love for yourself. Because you love me the same way you love yourself. And since you know that me and you are the same, we come from the same soupy soup, if you use that term. We come from the same primordialness. We come from the same pleroma. We all are individual droplets from the same ocean. So I'm a drop of the ocean. You're a drop of the ocean. You know, so the P's a drop of the ocean. So the Sister Diane Coleman's a drop of the ocean. My boy, Brother George is a drop of the ocean. Richie Rich is a drop. So everybody's a bloop, bloop, bloop. We're all individual drops. And if you put us all together, we make one big ocean. So as individual expressions of God, in order for us to be successful, number one, perfect recall. That means I got good memory. I can remember. I can return back to my previous membership. Number two, I receive unlimited downloads. I'm always connected with Source because I am Source. Number three, I have increased creativity because I'm a divine expression of God on earth. Number four, I'm in an elevated state of consciousness. I'm not in a low vibrational state. I'm in a gamma brainwave state. Number five, I have incredible analytical skills. I can analyze anything, whether it's past, present, or future, because I'm connected with the past, the present, and the future. Saying it's because I'm Source. Number six, I have superb communication skills. My communication skills is muy, because I'm telepathic. So are you. And number seven, I have maximized maximum productivity. That's why I can't be broke. Neither can you. Because we know exactly what to do. Because we got supreme communication, analytical, creativity, elevated states of consciousness. We got unlimited downloads from Source, so we know we forever connected. It's like you're always plugged into the Source. It's like an electrical cord plugged into the outlet. You always got electricity is always on. That's the flow state. So now that we're in the flow state, we got to connect with our audience. And when we connect with our audience based upon their emotional frustration. So why is your audience frustrated? Well, who's your audience? Well, you, your audience. Okay, well, who's my audience? Well, I'm a 6. So I understand the emotional frustrations of everybody who's a perfectionist and a level of details. You know what makes me emotionally frustrated? People who talk and they don't complete their sentence. People who got bad hygiene. People whose house is dirty and cluttered. Cluttered means what? Now, you could have a lot of shit in here. My grandmother had stuff, you could barely see the floor. But you know what? everything was neatly in its place. And there was a little trail you could walk through to get from the living room. On both sides of the trail with all kinds of dolls and all kinds of stuff. I said, Big Mama, what is that? She had stuff from the 1830s. But guess what? It was in a glass case. It was a box that had a tag on it. Boy, don't you touch that doll. I bought that doll at the State Fair in 1932. She knew everything was in the house. Her memory was impeccable. You could eat off the floor in our house. But there was a lot of stuff in there. But it wasn't cluttered. It was neatly organized. That's totally different. So you can have a lot of stuff. But is it labeled? Is it packaged? Is it set up, or you just got it thrown all over the place? Totally different things. Why? Because I'm an attention to detail dude. I like details. So I'm going to notice shit that nobody else going to notice. Why? That's the sixes. That's what we do. We ain't going to say nothing, but when we leave, we're going to say, man, did you see that shit all over the house, bro? I said, man, yeah, I saw it, dog. You see it? Yep, I saw it too. That's what sixes do. So that's so I'm going to connect with my audience. And that's all. We get really frustrated. So I help them deal with that. And I say, hey, don't put what I learn how to do. I can go to my owner's kids' rooms right now. Probably can't see the floor. Brand new house, clothes everywhere. You know what I do? I send my black ass out their room. Otherwise, the marriage wouldn't work. Why? Because I'm going to go up there and throw a gasket. So I already know that. But I did the same thing at the old house. And when we first got together, we struggled. But when we first got together, they was like 4 and 5. They was babies. So it was easy to ignore. I was like, they're kids. Come on, I tell you want the kids to be walking around here like they're freaking adults. So I had to do it. Because I had that in my first marriage, my kids was like in the military. We had freaking roll call in the morning. Everybody was standing outside their bedroom door, standing at a position of attention. I walked in like a military drill instructor with a white glove on. Is that dust? What? Somebody getting beat. And was I a little anal retentive? Absolutely. So I learned the hard way. That's not how you raise children. Children are they're little creators. So you're supposed to give them free reign. I had to learn the hard way, though. So that's the point. The point is, my gift is also my flaw. Now, it took me 60 years to figure that out. It's a long time. So I'm hoping that Osama can figure it out faster than me. So that way, when he get married and have kids, he won't try to make his kids in a little Osamas. And knowing Brother Osama, he's born in September like me. So he has a total awareness, flaw, and gift, just like me. So he likes to research stuff up, down, left, right, happy, sad. Y'all seen his videos on YouTube? I don't hear no other 21 kid. Well, let me rephrase that. That's some on TikTok. There's very few kids his age talking about deep esoteric shiznets. Why is he talking about it? That's his gift. But we can project our gift onto other people. So in order for Brother Osama and myself and other 33s or 6s, people born in September, because it's a similar frequency, we have to only project and expect that level from our audience. So I'm not going to go to people who are life path number 1 and say, hey, did y'all notice that? They're going to say, now, dog, we was out front. We don't, what's going on back there? We don't know. We're leaders. So we blazing a trail for other people to follow. Oh, so y'all not noticing the fact that the trail you blazing is just for you. No, we leaders. So we are out front, way ahead of the pack, doing what leaders do. People who are life path number 2, they're interested in peaceful expression of the inward creation. So they go inside their head, they pick up all of this energy from all over the place, and they try to harmonize all of this energy. That's why people who are life path number 2, they have this internal war going on all the time because they can pick up all this energy, but they ain't supposed to process all the energy. So 2s have to go through the process of energy inspection. They pick up by somebody got an attitude they don't like them. So you're supposed to, what do you do with that energy there? Somebody that don't like you, you're supposed to throw it away. But what do? They internalize it. And then they say, damn, why they don't like me? So they are internal creators. But two's got to be very careful because all the energy that you intake ain't for you. Sometimes you're supposed to just observe and reject. So if you're a two, you got to understand that as a intuitive medium of knowing without study, your job is to create balance using your sensitivity. So your audience are very frustrated. Like if you're a two, man, that's a lot of opportunity for you. Because right now everybody's frustrated. Why? So what's going on in the world today? Is the dollar going to collapse? China and Russia, they just got in bed together. In the book of Revelations, I remember the book of Revelations, they talked about this, what was it, 200 million man army or whatever the number was? You know, if you combine the Russian army and the Chinese army, you have that 1 billion man army that it talks about in the book of Revelation. You know, for the first time in history, the, Euphrates River is dry, just like it says in the book of Revelation. There's a lot of stuff that's going on right now that if you're a Christian, you should be like, oh, shit. But as I've been saying for years, is the Bible a book of predictive programming or prophecy? What's the difference between the two? Nothing. So if I write something and I state this is 2023, and if I write it for 2025 and I put it on every major broadcast and I publish it and it's required reading and I turn it into a religion and then I beat you or kill anybody who says anything against my required religion. Go back and read the Crusades. All my thumpers out there. What did they do to Christians in the Crusades? I mean, non-Christians. So, of course, I'm going to become a Christian. It's either death or they're going to take my little kids. They're going to, hey, we're going to kill your kids out unless you accept Jesus Christ. Man, Jesus, I love you. Or what about, man, bump Buddha, dog. Jesus is in. I ain't trying to take no bullet. So, yeah, I'm going to convert. And so what does that do? Well, anybody know what happens with mass consciousness? Anybody know what collective consciousness is? So let me make sure I understand, man, because anything that we as a collective consciousness come together, it's going to manifest. I read the book, The Isaiah Effect. They proven this shit. Anybody read the CIA document? Why do you think the CIA does it? Do you guys know that everything that happened in the black community, from slavery to drugs to everything, was a CIA experiment? Syphilis was introduced in the black community. Crack cocaine was introduced. These fools, Nixon make sure that the black man was out of the holes by giving the black woman welfare and food stamps if she got kids and there's no man. So guess what? I'm sorry, honey. You can live here with the DL, though. I ain't putting your ass on the lease. But what does that do to the black woman? Shit. I don't need a man. The government is my man. So all black women married the government. Now they had a man. He was a Sancho. Rice at the tea, he was on the side. He was your, what do they call him? Yeah, I think they call him Sancho. So what are you saying, Doc? I'm saying, bruh, this shit is all predictive programming. So everything in the Bible is going to happen. Not because it's true, but because all of us believe that it's true, and therefore we made it happen. Read Stephen Jackson. I got $100,000. If any Christian can go and do the research on the Illuminati card game that predicted every major event in the history of the world, well, since the last 200 years, 2,000 years, 200. How did Stephen Jackson know it was going to happen before it happened? Because he read the certain group, we'll put it that way, like, Foreign Relations, Council 12, the good old boys. They ain't thinking generations. They got shit written down for your children's children. This shit is just not, they're not making this up as they go, bro. It's going to happen. Why? They're going to put a bullet in your head if you say that it's not. So if everybody's sharing the same thing, how do I manifest stuff? Because my head, my heart, and my gut is saying the same thing. So I'm doing the same thing that the collective consciousness is doing, the whole world is doing, except I'm doing it as an individual. That's what I'm teaching you how to do. So I'm teaching you how to be. So that means that you can write your own scriptures, like I did. Everything that I'm doing right now, I wrote down 5 years ago. And then I did exactly what it said in Habakkuk 2:2. Take the vision. I had a vision. I saw me being wealthy, healthy, wise, and good. I saw me driving my convertible carpet. I saw me living in this big house. Now, I wanted a very large season. We had special, our house so far, we want to one of the model because it's kind of like they only make seasons up to a certain height. They don't go past like 15. I was like 21. Like it's a very, 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 very high ceiling to give the illusion of a space because we entertain a lot. But I saw that. I wrote that shit down. It ain't by accident. That's why I'm living it now. If you take the vision, if you write it down, those that read it will run. Which I think the Bible is. The book that a bunch of people got together and they wrote shit down in it. And then they said, you're going to read it. Because nobody don't read it. They said, get a rope. And they did that. They hung your ass up in front of all your family members. So everybody else in the family, you was gone, but everybody else became Christians, bro. Read about the Knights Templars, man. How we getting money? Who started paper? Money. The Templars. Who were the Templars? They were priests with guns. Am I the only one that read history? You can't make this shit up. So what if it had been, Buddha, and he had everybody with guns? We all be Buddhist. We would be reading the Bhagavad-Gita. And the Bhagavad-Gita, whatever's in the Bhagavad-Gita will be happening right now. This is collective consciousness. Read the Philadelphia experiment. Read the CIA document about, the Gateway experiment and Hemiseek. So that way you can understand predictive programming and prophecy is the same thing. Nobody want to talk about it though. I understand, bro. You push it to the choir, Doc. I know. Let's move on. We got bigger fish to fry. I don't know why I got sidetracked with that note, but somebody needs to overstand. So number one, listen to your intuition. I'm not going against the big predictive programming. Why? I have no skin in the game. I could care less if Red Dawn happens, which it probably will, because that's what everybody believes. Unless everybody wake up, we join together, we could change it tomorrow. But we got to read something other than the book of Revelations. How many Christians you know that's going to get rid of the book of Revelations and they're going to stop staring in the sky waiting for Jesus to come back? Oh, he coming. I just don't know which Jesus y'all going to get. Let's stay for another time. Number two, you got to read the language of results. So what is the language of results? I'm speaking the language of results. It's called predictive programming. So I call those things that are not as though they were, just like the Bible says. The Bible is the most powerful book on the planet because it's the book of spells. That's why they call it the ghost spell. I'll call it the gospel. It's the ghost spell, homie. It's the good spell. It's the best spell on the planet because to cast the spell, one must spell. So you can write your own spell. That's what I did. I put a spell on myself with the teeth. And now everything that I wrote, because remember, whenever you write, that's why I love to write. So I got 300 books. I love to write. Because when I write, I am performing a rite that makes me right. Y'all better stop playing. I got 100 grand. Shit, let's make it 200 grand. If you can prove me wrong, you got to prove the Bible wrong. Because the Bible, somebody said down here, let's write W-R-I-T-E. When doing that, putting letters in a particular order fucks up the DNA. That creates what is called an R-I-T-E. Now, DNA is nothing but letters. This is called an incantation, by the way. This is how you provoke and invoke a particular response. And you can guarantee results. All you got to do is write. And then when you read what you write, according to Habakkuk 2:2 in the Bible, when you write it down, you're performing a ritual with a rune. This is runic magic. This is beyond everybody's pay grade. This shit is cosmic. You called down fire from other dimensions, homie. Now you becoming a transdimensional being. See, we have no idea what we do when we put pen to paper. You producing babies, bruh. It's like putting penis in poo nanny. Put that pen to that paper, dog. See what happens. That shit gonna manifest in your life. So when we do that, when we R-I-T-E, we are I-T-E. When we W-R-I-T-E, we are I-T-E. That makes us R-I-G-H-T. Right. So your brain says, hey, Doc just performed a ritual. But he did not perform any ritual. He performed a ritual using runes. And he used letters. We call those letters. So the cosmology comes down. Anytime runes are used in a ritual, it creates a rule. And the universe responds to that rule. I've been doing this since 13. I ain't stopping now. So if you want to guarantee your believability, and if you want to build trust with your audience, you can't hang out with people who don't have the same rules as you. Can't. People with rules can't hang out with people without rules. People with beliefs can't hang out with people with knowledge. That's why I don't hang out with people that have beliefs. I only hang out with knowers. So this is a group of organization of knowers. So what do we know? We know we are individual expressions of God on earth. We know we can say to that mountain, be thou removed and be cast in the sea. The mountain got to get the bump up out here. I know where it got to go, but it got to get up out of here. Because I know that life and death is in the power of my tongue, not T.D. Jakes. He got no power over here unless you give it to him. And I ain't giving him my power. Nah, bro, not me. So no, I do not believe in whatever he said. I don't even know what he said. Could be true. I don't care. Why? The eighth principle is alignment with assignment. If anybody want to guarantee success, align your mind with your God-given design. 100 grand if you don't shine. That means you wake up in the morning and you have number 3. So number 2 was the language of results. The language of results is I would cut you to the white meat, bro. If you get in between me and my intuition, I don't play. I see. That's why I keep telling y'all I got a disposition. Now, if you are 33, you are already born by, you got a little righteous indignation. Like everywhere I go, people love me or hate me. That's it. And sometimes the people that love me, they start to hate me. Why? If I make up my mind, I'll die first. Before I would change my mind. Before I give you the satisfaction of winning, I make sure that we both lose. That's the dark side of a 33. In case y'all didn't know. 33s, we're perfectionists. So we have a level of expectation. That's why 33 will never attach him or herself to anything unless they got proof of concept. I guarantee you, every 33 on this call, you all know they all shaking their head. Like 33s, that's why if a 33 get conned, it's not a good thing. Because we research it so much that if you trick a 33, shit, you good, bro. You damn. But how do we become good at it? Remember, if you meet an old wise 33, you just bumping into what used to be a young, foolish 33. See, I was a young fool. Oh, man, shit, I spent too much time as a fool, in fact. Man, I found every Tom, Dick, and Harry that came through, every get-rich-quick scheme strategy, I was on it. And strategy, I had tears down my cheek when I signed up. That's how I got to where I'm at today. That's why I talk mad trash to everybody. I've already been down that road, dog. So you selling? Okay, hold up again. Say it slow. What you selling? Like, oh, they read. That's like when they come out with the. I was like, oh, that's the rehashing the Atkins diet. It's the shit just comes around. They just change the name and regurgitate the same shit. There's nothing new under the sun. Just like it says in the Bible. It's crazy. Everything is in the Bible. The Bible is the greatest book ever written, bar none. But the Bible is a book of runic magic. The Bible really it used to be called Grandma Ring. In fact, that was a whole other name for it that, we may have to break that down one of these days. There's this old ancient thing that's like, it's like 1292. It's a big old thick book. Some knucklehead on TikTok has a copy of it. Some old dude, he's a professor at some weird college in freaking bumfuck Egypt somewhere. He has this big old book, and it has a big, long, draconian name. And it's the only book that trumps the Bible. From the perspective of, it's like a book of magic that defeats all magic. And the only reason I know about it is because I had a guy, man, I be talking to some crazy people. But they good people. A little crazy, but, they good. Meaning, when you research as much stuff I research, you literally have to be very careful. That's a fine line, right, Dr. Martinet? You get your ass well out there in left field. Before you know it, man, you be out there seeing little green men. You be sipping soup out of a straw. You listening, Brother Osama? So, hey, I'm not saying don't go. Hey, September we got to go out there. All I'm saying is, there is some proto-scientific stuff. What does that mean, Doc? Don't tell me what I told you. So these knuckleheads, they took the truth, science, and they got blown of all of the Nazi scientists and all that stuff, and they put it all in science fiction. And they made cartoons. And they said that's a fairy tale. It's myths, fables. And they made scary movies, G's and Gins. Anybody remember the movie I, Robot with Will Smith? When did that movie come out, man? Now, that was fantasy, right? That was like, see, the reason why we all can accept ChatGPT today is because of Our Robot was released in 2004. I just pulled it up. Our Robot, Will Smith, Bridget Moore, something, whatever. What does the I meaning of blah, blah, blah? Let's see. Our Robot. Yeah, 2004 sci-fi action. So they put all truth in science fiction. And we watch it on the screen because we're not going to get into phantasmagoria. What happens when you watch moving still images on a screen? What happens to the brain? It's called phantasmagoria. I've done many shows on Walt Disney and phantasmagoria and cartoons and predictive programming. How to program the brain so that way now you will accept artificial intelligence. That's going to be put in a robot. The robot will become what Keanu Reeves did in the movie Replica. So if y'all haven't seen, and Red Dawn, go back and watch it again. But Replica, Red Dawn, Our Robot, all of these movies program you. That's why you go to the movies to move me. Move me. Predictive programming. So Replicas, with an S, came out in Keanu Reeves. Let's see, Replica movie, 2018. So that wasn't that long ago. But it's based upon a movie that was written in that came out in 2005. It's a remake of another movie. So Replicas with an S. Yeah, I should watch that one again because the robot is called 345. Do the math on the number 345. That's a study for that time. I told you. So what are you saying, Doc? Well, all I'm really saying is, for me and you, that doesn't affect us. Why? We are in the flow state. So what does that mean? That means that we're not going to stop thinking and let a robot think for us. So when a robot come up to me and start talking to me, I'm gonna realize what it is. It's artificial intelligence, which simply means that there's a frequency, wave, vibration, and entity that is using that, because the entities need bodies. And if we don't give them our bodies, they have to make machines and use their bodies. These entities, they want to experience same thing we experience. So we are spirits. We are possession of souls. But how can a spirit experience what does a chocolate cake taste like? How can a spirit experience what does drinking, Coca-Cola taste like? So all of these disembodied spirits that are called sprites, they don't have a tongue. They don't have eyes. They don't have a hand. They don't have a nose. So they want to use yours. And we all are saying, like, hell no, I'm going to use my own body. So they need a body. So they want to create artificial intelligence that becomes sentinel so that way they can hijack the AI to access SI. So only SI can do what me and you do. So the game, the Bible is a predictive book about really how AI takes the place of AI. Artificial intelligence is taking the place of authentic intelligence. Because only authentic life can access God and spiritual life. So this is Lucifer's way to get back into heaven so he can wage the war with heaven again. This is all inside of it's called the Book of Wars, or the War in Heaven. If you haven't read that book, like my boy Ben Garcia, he wrote a book that breaks this all down, or you can just go and read the ancient texts. It's at sacredtext.com. The Book of Wars, or the Angel Wars. I think it's called Angel Wars. Angel Wars in Heaven, Book of Wars, one of those two titles. It explains everything that's going on. Just like in the movie Angels and Demons. So none of this stuff affects us. Why? Well, we're people with stuff. We don't hang out with people without stuff. It's like we're people with bodies. We don't hang out with people without bodies. Right? So anybody that goes see those curanderos, went down to New Orleans and do some root cutting and conjured up friends and talk to the dead people, any necromancers on the call? If you are, you might want to cease and desist. Only reason they're talking to you is so they can inhabit you, because they want to experience life. All of the angels they jealous of you. And the Bible says, it explains this. Why are they jealous? Because we are cars that spirits can drive and experience this thing that we call life. Like, I bought a convertible Corvette so I can experience this thing called speed with no top. That's the only reason I bought it. If I wanted a big monster truck so I can go drive off in the woods and sling mud around and go up and down a bunch of hills, I'd have bought me a big monster truck, but I don't want to experience that. So I didn't buy that type of a vehicle. So your job is to understand that you got something that all angels want. And if you ain't careful, them suckers gonna con you and trick you into giving up your body so they can experience their life. That's called possession. That's why I don't talk to, no disrespect to some of the ancestors and talk to the ancestors. Ancestors had their time. Now the ancestors are inside of me. And I can access the ancestors for assistance. But I'm not interested in having the ancestors hijack my body and come back and continue to live their life through my body. That's not how it works. This is my opportunity to express, expose, and expand my destiny. So everybody on this call, you're supposed to be living your life, not TD Jakes and Crypto Dollar. That's why you're supposed to talk to people. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so you think I should do that? Okay, assalamu alaikum, salam, brother, appreciate you. Then you go home and you find your quiet corner, you sit your ass down, you turn off all the TV, you do number one, listen to your intuition, your gut. Number two, speak the language of results. What is the results? What's my motivated ability? Payment. I get paid when shit is perfect because I'm a 6. If you're a 1, you get paid when you're a leader. If you're a 2, you get paid when you're in an environment of peace. You're a 3, you get paid. You feel safe and secure when you can create shit. And if you're a 4, you get paid when you feel stable. If shit's unstable, you can have $100 million in the bank. You broke. Because in your brain, you got a feeling. Remember, we're talking about removing the emotional frustration. That's a feeling. Poverty is that. Poverty is an emotional frustration. Bump your money. Nobody cares how much money you got. If your brain is bumped up, you ain't got no money. Because you can't enjoy it. You can be out on a boat in the middle of the ocean with the most beautiful scenery. What you thinking about? Shit. I wanted my husband's sheep. You out in the middle of Tahiti somewhere, in a beautiful island, and you are thinking about what your husband is doing? Now, he didn't go. Why? He with his other girl. You should divorce his ass and bring your boo. So we live in the most dangerous place, which is in our mind. So where's your brain at tonight? You could be listening to me right now, and you're worried about dinner. That means you're missing it. So we are all speaking the language of results. So if you're a 4, you got to be stable. So you can't do what I do. You can't fly out from the hip. If you're a 4, man, you need security, bro. You need to have money in the bank for the next 5 years. You need to have a stable job. You need to stable. If you're a 4. If you're a 5, you're the opposite of 4. You're a free spirit. Oh, man, you swinging around. You flying around. You like my boy Richie Rich. You're in another city every month. Whole other country. You don't really care about, how you gonna get back. And I figured out when I get over there. So let me get this. So you're gonna go over there and you don't know how you're gonna get back. Yeah, I figured out. Why? 5s. They are just like 3s. The only difference between a 5 and a 3, 3 create using creativity. 5 create using freedom, movement, adventure, fun. That's a 5. So when you find, if you are like an 8 and you married to a 5, that marriage is going to suck. Because 5 are free spirits. 8, they need structure. So after the 5 comes the number 6. We all know 6, I talk about it all the time. We ain't retentive. We're very creative, and we like our creations to lead to production. So we're very results oriented. 6, we like results. We like details. We really love how things work on a small scale. That's why I get into physics. That's why I get into how biology works. I love cellular biology, not the overall cell. I love the individual components of the cell. So I like details. Love. So love is details. So I'm a lover of love, not of people or places or things. But usually the people, place, or thing contain the details that I love. So I gotta love the person if I love the details. So if I love the freckle on your left cheek, well, it's your left cheek. So to see the freckle, I got to see you. So okay, I take you too. That's a 6. That's how we think. So 6s, we love detail. You would never know. I wonder why he's into me or why she's into me. If a person is into you, they're 6, there's some details about you that they like. That's why they into you. Details. That's a 6. 7s, they are very intellectual. But their intellect comes from sympathy and empathy. So 7s have a very, very, very systematic, reasonable, and logical way, whereas 6s, we have a very loving and compassionate way. But they both focus on details. 6s just a little deeper. 7s, a little bit more anal, a little bit more analytical, a little bit more psychological. Then 8s, as I mentioned earlier, remember, this is how you get paid. This is extremely important. there's a lot of people working and you're not getting paid. You're making money, but you still got a hole in your heart. The reason that you got that emotional frustration, even though you got a lot of money, even though, your health is great, you got everybody look at you, you got everything, and you're not happy. Because what's missing is your motivated abilities, payment. We don't get paid with money. We get paid with these feelings, with emotions. So you have to know how you receive payment. Don't work for money. Work for your emotional amplification. That removes emotional frustration. So I can remove all my frustration when I love the details. I love love. I love the art and the science of love. Number 6. 7 love intellect. 8, they love making decisions. 8 are executives. They get paid every time they make a decision, especially when the decision leads to a positive completion. So 8 are CEOs. They are chief executive officers. Most business gurus are 8. They must. Remember, there's a difference between an 8. 8 makes decisions. Ones don't. Ones, they charge the hill. They got to be out front. 8 don't have to be out front. They can be in the back as long as they are running the ship from the back. They don't care. As long as they're the one that, hey, everybody goes to, it's time to make a decision. Okay, what are we going to do? An 8 is the person that's sitting in the back say, I know what to do. The one is out front. He's not even in the meeting. He's just charging the hill. Probably going in the wrong direction. They're just leaders. So you got to know how you get paid. 9s are the sophisticated, high maintenance, usually flamboyant, but very, very, very high level. What we would call godly. Those are the 9s of the world. All of the 9s are the people that have so much style and elegance and grace. They just good to look at. Most 9s are like people in Hollywood. They love glamour. 5s like freedom, not glamour. People think 5s and 9s are similar. They're not. 5s, shit, they like thrill. 5s like, hey, let's go bungee jumping. You won't find no 9 doing no thrill-seeking stuff. What you'll find a 9 doing is getting ready, getting dressed up, put on all the fancy do-that stuff to go to the Oscars. 9, they love sophistication, elegance, and style. But remember the dark side. Everything I just said, you'll find a 9 walking around with a T-shirt on and some put-up jeans when they're in depression. And then you'll see, I love watching 9s on Facebook. One day you see them, man, they look like they're going to the fucking Oscars. Then the next day you see them on Facebook with no makeup, their hair's not done, they didn't brush their face or wash their teeth, and they're making a video on Facebook. And you're like, oh shit, they must be going through. 2 days later, you see them back posted up, and they sophisticated, elegant style, dropping knowledge. Then when they going through the valley, you see them, no wig on, no nothing on, and they are usually talking trash about somebody. So everybody, we got to be aware of our own highs and lows. Why? That's how you lose trust and you lose believability because you're not firm, fair, and consistent. So me, when I'm in my low, I don't avoid it. I'm aware of it. And I make sure that I overcompensate for it. Meaning, if I'm really, really having that bad of a day, yep, I won't do no social media, no videos, no nothing. Because my energy is going to be off. Never invest scared energy. Never invest low vibrational energy. So you shouldn't have to take the day off. You should have to take maybe the hour off. Maybe 2 hours. And you should get your shit back. You should be able to, we are error correcting codes. Everybody on this call. That's what gods do. The error, remember, your problem is your product. Your frustration is you monetize your frustration. So if my frustration is I have a lack of funding, then I ask myself, what would I be doing to generate funding? Well, let's go back to my list. First thing, perfect recall. Damn, what did I do last year when I needed funding? So whatever I did last year, shit, that may work again this year. That brings me to number 2. I just got a download. Because God is telling me, the universe is sending me a download. All I got to do is align with it. Remember, you can't go get the download. You are the download. You just got to quantum jump. What does that mean? Change your feeling. Change your perspective. Stop looking at the problem. Look at the product. So what are you doing? Changing your perspective. It's the same event. You're looking at the same. People think you got to go somewhere. You got to do something. No. Change your perspective. That's how you change timeline. Quantum jumping means, shit, I got a problem. I got a lot of bills. So let me quantum jump. If I got a lot of bills, that means I got a lot of solutions to those bills. So people with a lot of bills, they got to make more money than bills. So how do I make more money? Well, I make more money by what? Doing more stuff that generates money. So what generates money? That takes me to number 3, increase creativity. How? Number 4, elevate my emotional state. Shit, go drink some coffee, whatever you got to do to get amped up, bro. Go work out, run around the block, do some Wim Hof breathing, dump your ass in a cold shower. Do something to elevate your consciousness. So that way you can do number 5. Increase your analytical skills. You can analyze shit. You can look at the field. You're like, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. I tried that last year. Is that work? Okay, let's do that. You have increased analytical skills. So now you ready to do the video now. So you do number 6. You go in the video, you start fucking waxing eloquently. You got supreme communication skills. That leads you to number 7. That means maximum productivity. After productivity comes the product. After the product comes the profit. Bam, you back on schedule. That 7-step process is what I do every day. Every morning I wake up, I unlock my true God self by telling myself, yeah, boy, remember last year? How much money we make last year? We were grinding and shining with me. Yeah, we did, Doc. Let's get this shit, bro. Let's go. Number 1, recall. Number 2, download, alignment. Number 3, increase creativity. Number 4, elevated emotional state. I don't have a freaking time for a low vibrational state. We can do that shit next year. Number 6, increase analytical skills. Number 7, supreme communication. That was number 6. Number 7, maximum productivity. When we do those 7 keys, bam, now I have proof of life. I'm alive, bruh. Deep nostril breathing. So when I go on the video, people say, damn, that nigga's kicking it. What the hell he selling again? I don't even like it. I don't even need it. I want to buy it because that's what is believable. And he's trustworthy. People buy from people they can fucking trust. So then you listen to your intuition. You speak from a place of your desire fulfilled. That's called the language of results. So the language of results means I already got it. Thank you. So I wake up and say, thank you, Big G. You can be broke as a joke. You thank God before you get it, not after. That's the language of results. I'm always in the after party. That means I'm always in the have state, which takes me to number 3. I'm in it to win it. So listen to your intuition, speak the language of results, and you are in it to win it, which means failure is not an option. We're going to figure the mother beep out. With that, I'm out. I love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. So we see everybody mañana. God bless.